If you're incorporating those Republican suggestions in this act, have you gotten any Republican support for the Social Security 2100 Act publicly?
Verbally, yes, but not publicly.
Do you think that's
One
going to
on one.
happen?
I do. Well, I think in the case of a bill of this nature, where there has been long-standing philosophical differences, where lines have been drawn long ago, they're hard barriers to knock down. But in a vote on a bill, everyone looking at the card that I gave them, they're going to vote their interest and the interest of their constituents and their district. This is, probably the best economic development plan that we could do. And when members look at, on average, most districts get 200 million a month coming into their district for their constituents. And again, it's not rocket science. Where do they spend that money? They're not buying stock options with it, I can tell you that.
So then what's next for the legislation? Because you've reintroduced it last year. There is Democratic support. So what's the lifeline look here?
Well, let us hope we applaud the president and his initiatives, but the president can't make Mike Johnson bring the bill to the floor. Only the Republicans can do that. And if they won't, well, we hope we'll be in a position to do that after November. I think this is going to be a major campaign issue for the reasons I cited before. 10,000 baby boomers a day. So that's 3,650,000 yearly are going to be eligible and wondering why Congress hasn't acted, as only Congress can.
So when your constituents say, why hasn't Congress acted, what's your response?
I said it's a shame, and it hasn't acted because there hasn't been the will to vote. And some would even say too, hey, the Democrats had control, well, I've been in Congress 24 years, 25 years actually now, but only 4 of those years did we have the House, the Senate, and a Democratic president. And that was the closest we came. But there were other things like the Affordable Care Act, et cetera, that ended up taking precedent at that point. But I believe, because the president has stated now in 2 successive State of the Union messages and in his campaign that this is top on the agenda list. Hakeem Jeffries, whom we hope will be Speaker of the House, has also indicated that it's top on his list as well. So we feel very confident that there will be a vote under Democratic control. Put that aside, though. There should be a vote tomorrow. Whether Democrats or Republicans or independents, whoever controls it, look at the need that exists out there. Again, no one's getting wealthy off of Social Security. These aren't windfall profits for anyone. This is mere subsistence. And when there's any discussion that's talked about the wealth gap, you have to look no farther than the most successful insurance program in the nation's history, run with less than 1% administrative costs, number one. Number two, providing critical benefits to more than 70 million people and making sure that those benefits are going right back to the communities and the people that need them the most, serving as an economic plus for every one of the 435 congressional districts in all the 50 states.
So as you've noted from the very beginning of this conversation, there hasn't been substantive action on this in over half a century. So will it take precedent, do you believe, only if Democrats control the White House, Congress, and Senate?
One would hope that that's not the case, that no matter who is there, they're going to recognize that here are the facts, here is the overwhelming data. And I think the more like institutions and the more like opinion leaders like Forbes and yourself make this clear, just on the basis of the facts alone that people would say, hey, you know what? We really need to do this. And you know what? When we look at the polling data, the public is accepting of this because they understand what this means. And if we're going to help solve this issue of wealth disparity, and there's no denying it, that it actually exists. Imagine 40% of all retirees, the only benefit they have is Social Security. And on average, that's 18,000 a male, 14,000 per female. So if that isn't enough to shake people up and have them do the right thing, I don't know what is. Do I think if Democrats are in control of the presidency, the Senate, and the House? Absolutely, because they know this is long overdue.